I like the comment here. Many people struggle with PCOS, thyroid issues, etc., preventing them from losing weight. There's nothing in the world that prevents you from losing the weight except for self-control. And listen, I understand that like eating can be a problem because I have an eating problem because I'm fat, obviously. But can we stop saying this because it's not true? It makes it more difficult, but it doesn't prevent you from doing it. Well, we're watching. Everybody said in the chat said no, but we're watching it now. So.
Patient walks into the doctor's office, says doctor.
And I'm gonna make every available fat joke because I'm just that guy.
Hurts when I move my arm like this. What should I do? And the doctor says, so don't move your arm like that. Now, fat girl walks into doctor's office.
Oh yeah, how'd you fit through the door? He like that. We're doing them.
Says doctor, it hurts when I move my arm like this. What should I do? And the doctor says, have you considered weight loss surgery? Fat girl walks into the doctor for a flu shot and gets a lecture about BMI. Fat girl walks into the doctor's with an earache and gets asked if she's ever eaten a salad.
Jesus. I mean, listen, obviously some of this is exaggeratory, but this is like the general experience of going to the doctor when you're overweight. You know, like my wife used to smoke a lot of cigarettes, and she went in the doctor, and she's overweight, and they were like, "Oh," she's like, "Yeah, I'm having like a really bad like breathing problems," and they're like, "Oh, well, maybe you need to lose weight," and she's like, they knew she smoked cigarettes, and it's just like incredible. It's just incredible. Like sometimes they'll really just like invalidate your shit. I think the most annoying thing is like when you go to the doctor. Like I have a doctor now. He's cool. He'll be like, hey, you know, you should probably lose some weight. And I'm like, okay, and that's it, and that's totally fine. You know, I'm gonna do it. If I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. If I'm not, I'm not. You know. But the doctors at Badger, like next time you come in, you have to have lost 15 pounds, and it's like it makes me not want to go to the doctor, and that's actually something a lot of people feel, you know. And it's more difficult to lose weight when you can't get the because I need medication, and I hated my last doctor so much I didn't really go. But this doctor's cool. He's like, yeah, you should probably lose some weight. It'll probably be good to get your levels down or whatever. He doesn't even necessarily care that I lose weight. He's like, what he said was like, okay, your like blood sugar's high. You got to lose that. Obviously, losing weight will help, but you also have to get your diet under control. It's really more about being healthy than necessarily losing weight, you know. But it can be very annoying when you have a doctor that badgers the hell out of you all the time to lose weight. It makes you not want to lose weight, and it makes you actually just not go to the doctor, and then you don't get your medication to get your shit together, and then like you have lower energy and you're more like frustrated all the time. It's true, man. So, you know.
Fat girl walks into the doctor's office with a spider bite, and the doctor obsesses over how low her blood pressure is. Low for such a fat person anyway. Yeah. Insists on checking it 3 times before he'll believe it.
I mean, not for nothing, but it can be very difficult to get your blood pressure when you have large arms. You know, so I'm not trying to be rude, but they might have just felt the need to recheck it.
Forgets completely about the mass of purple spider venom that brought her here to begin with. Fat girl walks into the doctors to ask about antidepressants and gets prescribed exercise instead because obviously her depression is because of her fat.
It probably is, honestly. It's probably because of your weight and also because of your eating habits. I'll tell you, I'm super food sensitive. If I eat poorly, like I get in a really bad mood. I get very grumpy. I get very angry. The reality, though, is that you need to manage the symptoms first. So you need to prescribe the person. If somebody comes in and they're like legitimately like clinically depressed, it may honestly be because of their weight. 100%. I would not doubt it. But they're not going to magically become undepressed because you called them fat. You know what I mean? They're not going to be like, oh, I guess I just have to work out. Like, obviously, there's an underlying problem. If somebody's this heavy, like this girl or me, clearly there's something going on there. So you need to prescribe the antidepressants first and then say, but like, honestly, you need to lose some weight, but in a nice way. I mean, this is how you say, listen, I'm going to prescribe you antidepressants. Thank you so much for the sub, brother.
Vanilla's just gifted 1 sub.
You say like, hey, I'm going to give you antidepressants, but I will say that like a lot of times like food sensitivity can be a real thing, and it actually might be what's harming you. You know, you may want to try to eat healthier. Losing weight would help as well, but at the very least, try to eat healthier. Maybe start like incorporating some more stuff into your diet, like more fiber and stuff and whatnot, like better energied foods, more like densely micronutrient foods. That's really what you want to do, because you know, listen, it's hard to be fat when you eat really well. You know. It just is. Like, you get full faster. But if you eat stuff like McDonald's and shit, like, you don't really get full necessarily, not as quickly. And so, like, you're hungry more of the time. And, like, that's usually what happens. People that are, like, this heavy tend to eat shit a lot, you know? Like
and
myself, too.
Fat Fat bodies never exercise and stay fat.
I mean, most of the time, yeah. Sorry.
Fat girl walks into the doctor's office for a standard 3-month follow-up appointment, and the doctor
sorry, but 3-month follow-up appointments aren't standard. Unless you have like a particular issue. The only time they're going to give you a 3-month appointment is if you're having a problem. If not, they're going to do it yearly. So probably blood pressure, blood sugar, shit like that. So it's not really a standard 3-month appointment. I'm just saying, this person is clearly like using their experience to have this conversation, and like not the core of what she's saying isn't wrong necessarily, but like there's no such thing as a standard 3-month appointment. Like you probably had some kind of underlying issue, and they're like, "Hey, come back after 3 months." You know, it's just like you're kind of Nate. Like I'm fat too. I know how to read between the fucking lines, bro. All right, I'm just saying. It's not standard if you're overweight. It's standard if you have health problems, which means you probably are overweight. You know what I mean? Like if you have high blood pressure or something, you're probably a bit overweight or high cholesterol. I have high blood pressure, cholesterol, blood sugar. I'm a fucking trifecta, you know? I'm obviously working on it, but you know what I mean? Like I know I got to go back in 3 months too. 2 months now, but
says, have you considered that weight loss surgery yet? Fat girl gets tired of constantly being diagnosed as fat. So fat girl stops walking into the doctor's office. Fat girl walks into the world and says, "World, it hurts to exist like this."
I'm so sorry. I don't mean to be rude, but bro, it does hurt to exist as a fat person. I'm not, listen, there's a fine line between not relentlessly annoying the shit out of fat people, but also like that fat person having some fucking self-control and like autonomy. Your best argument as a fat person is like, listen, just leave me the fuck alone. I'm just gonna stay fat and unhealthy. Like that's your best argument. At least just be like, you know what? I'm just fat as fuck and I'm just gonna stay fat. And I'm talking about myself, not her. You know, I'm fat as fuck. I'm just gonna stay unhealthy. You know, just say that if you're gonna do that, but don't. You know what I mean? Like, it is difficult to lose weight. You're not getting the weight loss surgery, baby. I don't want you to. I want to do it naturally with you. You're very beautiful. You really want to, I guess. I just don't like that. But okay, let's move on.
And the world says, so stop existing like that. Fat girl walks through a world that would rather she slice herself open than to exist as she does. Side effects be damned. Fat girl walks through a world overrun with sidewalk doctors who claim to be concerned about her health.
This is a good point. This is a good point. People don't really give a shit about your health. This is the problem. Like, there's a lot of times, like if a girl's just existing on the internet and somebody's like, "Oh, you're fat," and then a lot of times they'll be like, "Well, I'm just concerned because you're fat." You don't care. There's a difference between being like, there's a difference. It's not, if it's not prompted, you don't actually care. You're just disgusted by fat people. You know what I mean? If a girl's like fat in a bathing suit, like you don't need to say anything. You don't have to comment on it. There's nothing prompted. Like she exists and she's fat. If she says like, "Hey guys, it's healthy to be fat," then you be my guest. But for the most part, people who look at fat women and they comment on it, it's just because you're disgusted by fat people, specifically women, because like women are very heavily valued for their looks, and so like you really are just being like sexist and fatphobic. Like I'm just telling you. Now, if they're like, "Oh, fat is healthy, it's totally fine," but that's different. Like you can criticize that because it's not healthy. It's something that should be avoided. You know, it literally is. I truly believe, like, if you're fat, you most likely have a food addiction. You shouldn't be prompting people to have fucking food addictions. So like I agree with that part. But you know, most of the time the criticism isn't anything outside of like this. Like that's it's usually the criticism. Oh, sorry. It's usually the criticism for fat people, specifically women. So, you know, keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind, okay?
Be damned! Fat girl walks into the world and still somehow manages to love her fat body. And the world says, stop glorifying obesity. Fat girl walks into the world and says, I do not owe you shrinking, you know?
You know, there's a conversation to have that if we do turn to universal health care, that like maybe you know, if everybody's going to pay, if you have to pay for my obesity, maybe you do owe us. Maybe I do owe you guys losing weight, you know? What I will say though is that we could probably remedy this by implementing some kind of like a sugar tax. We can implement some kind of like a sugar tax on something, or like a fast food tax, and that would be used to pay for healthcare. You know what I mean? That would probably be the better way, because then it would decentivize. Then it would decentivize people eating like shit. How do you like that?
I do not owe you thinness, attempted thinness, or desired thinness, because you assume thinness equals health. For that matter,
not necessarily, but like if you look at a thin person versus an overweight person, the thin person's probably healthier. You know? Okay, I'm just letting you know that. Like, it's just like, you know, she's beyond the weight where she could be like, although women are like weirdly more healthy than men, even overweight women, it annoys the shit out of me. Because I got fucking 10 problems up the ass, but my wife is like, she's a little heavy too. It's beautiful. She's got nothing. I'm like, God fucking damn it, bro. When I was like 24, my body just started to decline. I don't understand it. Why? Well, it's just fucking crazy to me. It pisses me off, bro. I'm on like 5 medications and my wife's just fucking vibing, bro. What are you gonna do, dude? At least I'm a man. You know, I think at least I'm a man. That's the thing I gotta like hold on to. Skinny people have a diet of monsters and skills. Some of them do. Some of them do. Yeah, maybe that is it. Like, women tend to like carry more body weight in general. That's like kind of like a healthier. Women tend to be healthier, being a little bit like thicker. Interesting. Yeah, interesting.
Do not owe you health, perceived or otherwise, to receive basic respect. I am deserving of care. I am deserving to exist as I do. I am deserving of first, no harm done. And the world says that is the best joke we've heard all day.
Incredible.
Patient.
Incredible. Slam poetry. I loved it. Yeah, I mean, I tend to agree with the overall narrative of what she's saying. It's fun to make fun of people. I think my biggest issue is the messaging of it. But, you know, this is her. I don't really have like any mental health issues necessarily. With being fat, because I'm a man, like, honestly, so people don't really give a shit that I'm fat. You think we're healthier, but we all just have women health issues, even we can't educate others on because we are never taught. Damn, mama got thrown in some fucking real talk right there. Yeah, like a big fat pussy. Inappropriate. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and another special shout out to all my Patreon and Twitch subs. If you'd like to support this channel further than you already have by just watching the video alone, go down to the links below where you can sub on my Patreon, which will allow you to get your name on this beautiful black wall. Or you can go to the Twitch page and you can actually use a free Amazon Prime sub, if you have Amazon Prime, to subscribe. Thank you very much, guys. Take care.